Welcome and good morning to yet another edition of the 359 podcast, CNET's daily live news podcast. And you know what else it is? It's the last daily news podcast, on this channel at least. This is our final swan song here at CNET YouTube as we move on over to our new home at the Daily Charge. It's been such a wonderful trip. Let's go out with a bang. Here are your hosts, Roger and Alfred.
Hey, what up? Goodbye, CNET channel, and hello, Daily Charge.
Woohoo!
Good riddance, I guess. I don't know. If you're here from the CNET channel, thank you for watching.
We still love CNET. We're still employed by CNET.
Yeah, we still work for CNET.
We're still part of CNET.
Hate the channel, all right?
We don't hate the channel either. You should definitely check out the channel because it's got a lot of good content. Just saying.
Nah, Daily Charge all day. I'm making t-shirts. I'm making bandanas. We're getting our own colors. It's gonna be great.
All right.
Channel wars.
I'm glad you're excited. I hope all of you are excited as well for this big change. And you move on to the new channel with us. For today, we'll be talking about a couple of vulnerability stories, or a couple of security stories. EA facing a vulnerability to its Origin gaming service. A group called Fido bringing
Alliance.
Bringing some consistency in terms of securing our Internet of Things devices. And of course, Verizon's Visible service, adding a little bit of incentive. We'll talk a little bit about Visible, which is not a particularly high-profile service. It's probably one you've never heard of, but it's got a pretty good deal coming in right here. We'll talk all about it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Brian will pick out the best, and we'll get to them in 3 minutes and 59 seconds.
Starting in 3, 2...
Welcome to the 359. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Electronic Arts faced a vulnerability to its Origin gaming service that exposed 300 million gamers. Alfred, what happened here?
Yeah, so this was research from two security companies called CyberInt and Checkpoint. They had found a security vulnerability where they were able to take over an EA subdomain website. So they basically took over a URL that ended in EA.com.
Okay.
And they were able to basically create a website with that URL that stole security access tokens. So you know when you go on a website and it lets you log in with Facebook or log in with Google,
sure,
stuff like that. So you can do that for Origin, and instead of typing in your password, it sends a security token to EA instead. So it's all done behind the scenes, and it's just like a snippet of code there that serves as your password and login instead.
Okay.
So it's sent to this fake EA website. But the thing was that it got sent to these security researchers instead of EA themselves because they had taken over the page.
Okay.
So once that happens, they can take that security access token and then use that to basically log into anyone's accounts.
Oh, wow. Scary stuff. So, I mean, in terms of what happened did anyone actually lose their account information or?
No, because this was basically a vulnerability that security researchers discovered and not, malicious hackers or any criminals or anything like that. So they found it around February and they informed EA about it, which had fixed it within 3 weeks or so.
And do they know if anyone else had taken advantage of this exploit?
No, yeah, there's no evidence that anyone had used this exploit because the website that was taken over was taken over by the security researchers.
Got it. Okay. All right. Next up, Verizon's Visible service, which is its stealth prepaid offering that kind of runs off of an app. It's all based on the app. Just removed the speed cap from its $40 a month service. Now, previously, it used to limit your plan to 5 megabits per second, which is not fast.
Very fast. And
super not fast at all. But that cap is gone. It's a limited offer. They just say it's a limited time. We don't know when it'll actually expire. But if you do sign up now, or if you're already a Visible service member, you can take advantage of this cap. Once the offer is gone, you'll still get that. You'll still enjoy sort of the limit-free or the cap-free speeds. But we don't know when the offer expires. Now, Visible, despite its name, is pretty much invisible. Verizon barely acknowledges it exists. It kind of runs off of this kind of quiet guerrilla marketing campaign, and you really can only do it through an app. So it basically means older folks are just not going to want to sign up to this.
Is there a reason why they keep it so secretive?
It's partly, it's by design. Partly, Verizon doesn't want to I think make it known.
Would they lose money if more people knew about it?
I mean, the fear obviously is some of its older customers on expensive $100 plans jump to this $40 plan. That 5 megabit per second cap was always sort of the hook or the catch.
Yeah, but if you're
service.
a senior citizen or something, I don't think that you're
right, which is
that much.
Which is not in their wheelhouse at all. They say they're really trying to target really ideally customers from T-Mobile and Sprint, like younger customers who have kind of flocked over to those other services.
But aren't those like unlimited? Like, isn't that the whole point why they flocked over?
Yeah. Well, the idea here, though, I think that's why they removed this limit, basically, to say, hey, you should come on over. We've got the nice Verizon network. But we don't have the limits. So, all right. Lastly, we may finally get some consistency when it comes to securing our Internet of Things devices. The Fido Alliance is stepped up, and what are they doing?
Yeah, so the Fido Alliance is a group that essentially set the standard for online authentication. Like, when you can sign into your accounts using a security key or biometrics or anything like that, that's because of the Fido Alliance. They set the standard for that. It was two-factor authentication from Google and Ubico, a security key company. So now they're setting their scope on Internet of Things security, which has no standard at all. There's no laws regulating it. Basically, like, you don't know if the smart light bulb you get is safer than some smart tea kettle that you get, and they're notoriously bad on their cybersecurity. Like, when you go to the store and you buy like a smart speaker or something, it's not like Energy Star where there's a label on it that says like this meets this standard, right? Like, and that's like a big concern for a lot of people.
All right, so I mean, with this, are we going to start seeing like a Fido Alliance approved seal?
That's that's the goal that they're looking for. They want to have that, so that when you go buy something, you know that it meets at least a certain standard of security.
Gotcha.
But the group is just starting now, and it might be a little bit before like that comes out.
All right. For more of these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Thanks for listening.
Here we are at the end of all things. Sorry, I couldn't help but get a Lord of the Rings quote in. It's the last Q&A here on the CNET channel for the 359 podcast as we make our transition over to the daily charge. As always, you can actually find a link to that by going to the text on screen or clicking in the description below. We hope to see all of you folks, all of our regulars there, continuing with us into our new venture in life. But for now, let's do it one more time here. Let's do it right. It's time for Q&A. Send in your questions and comments about today's topics at hand, and we'll do our best to floor them. Right out the gate, let's take a comment from Ryan. He says, they just unveiled caps in Canada at 256 kilobytes per second, so 5 megabytes is super fast. It's all about perspective, guys. You gotta remember that.
That's what I'm saying.
That is insane. 256 kilobytes per second.
Cap.
What kind of plan are you on? Is that just for like
Canada? He said Canada.
Still, I don't know. That's
trying to figure out what I could do with that limit.
I mean, you can do anything really.
I feel like that's like you can only use like Messenger.
If that.
You could send bitmaps.
And like you write in Messenger, like, guys, please don't send any like
no
GIFs.
images. Yeah.
Yeah, no images, please.
Yeah.
That's how you like shut out your friend, where it's like, okay, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. You just send like a bunch of images, like high res.
Modern problems require modern solutions, as it were.
Indeed.
Landon Cooley says, I am a Verizon customer, and this is the first time I've heard of Visible. Yeah, same. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's really by design. They've tried to make this kind of they've done this, they've had this guerrilla marketing strategy where they'll have like pop-up stores, or I think in New York at one point they created like a pop-up of like an example of a terrible carrier store experience. And like you kind of walk through it and it's just sort of janky. In the end, there's like, here's Visible. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting how what they're doing. I get that they're trying to balance out like attracting new, younger customers while like not necessarily broadcasting to their existing customers that there is a cheaper and almost comparable plan available. And so that's kind of the line that they're walking now.
Commander Trium has jumped in to remind us that he, as an Ottawan citizen, he says he's got a 1 gigabyte per second cap.
Whoa. Wait, what?
Per second?
Gigabyte per second, correct.
I mean, that's great. I mean, no cellular connection here unless you're on 5G gets that kind of speed, but yeah. Good for you.
It's like having a speed limit of like
I have a speed limit of 1,000
million.
Yeah, 1,000 miles per hour. You can only go to 1,000 miles per hour in your car. But congrats. I mean, that's awesome. If you can actually get those speeds consistently, and I don't know if you're referring to mobile or landline, if it's mobile, congrats. Landlines, I can, there are landlines.
Yo,
that can go,
if you have that
let's Google
kind of
Fiber.
speed, let me come over. I got like a few movies I need to download.
There you go.
I want to talk a little bit about EA.
It's in the game.
Oh no!
I set you up for that too.
No.
Oh, damn it, Alfred. So help me real quick. What is the solution here for us as users? Now, I don't have an Origin account myself, but many years ago, my girlfriend was a big fan of Sims, so I signed her up for it. What should I do?
All right. Well, let's just say like you should put on two-factor authentication always. The usual advice of like a phishing website is not that relevant here because they often tell you like look at the URL to make sure that it like when you get so it's not like eagaming.x5 or whatever. It's but the problem is that this vulnerability came from a website that was at ea.com. The good news is that this was a controlled like discovery where these security researchers found it themselves. They were the ones that registered that website to see if it would work, and it did. So that's it wasn't as if like everyone was affected by this. The idea was that like this was something that could have affected a lot of people if somebody malicious had discovered it.
All right, there you go. You're mostly safe.
Good enough. Anybody out there actually use Origin? Do you guys use Origin?
I do for a couple of EA mobile games because I noticed it's more convenient when I'm switching between an iPhone and Android phone for that login to work, as opposed to like using Google Play or using Apple's game authentication service. So it does cross-platform, which I kind of like.
And does anybody have Visible?
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'd consider it. I mean, my T-Mobile family plan is actually cheaper than this, but $40 for unlimited LTE on Verizon's network is a pretty good deal.
Wait, so what about, is it LTE and then also like calling and texting?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like an internet only thing.
It's a full thing. The only thing is like there's pretty much no customer service at all.
Uh-huh.
Like you have to you have to download the app and sign up there.
Okay.
And for a little while it only supported a handful of phones, but I think the number of devices, including your iPhone and Samsung devices, are now supported.
So wait, this limited offer thing, does that mean that if I sign up for it now for the $40 and there's no cap, once the offer is over, do I go back to having a cap?
No.
Okay.
So as long as you remain a customer, you continue to get that full no cap, no limited speed offer. It's just once the deal is over, you sign up later, then you go back to that 5 megabit per second limit.
Cool.
So
yeah,
for folks who have like, or especially single folks who are not on big family plans, where you can get discounts, this is a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, if I weren't on my parents' plan, I would probably do that. Like if I actually had to pay my own phone bill.
There you go.
That's the best phone plan, actually. Just mooch off your parents. It's great.
I pay for my parents' plans.
Wow.
So
Do you pay for your kids' phone plan?
my kid's 3.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
He does the best memes.
He does. He uses the Palm phone. He loves it. I mean, yes.
He's in my group chat, dude.
There you go. Yeah, it's all covered.
So in regards to Fido, what is this going to mean for our folks in the smart homes? I know, Alfred, you and I worked on an IoT video some time ago, and it was very educational for me. Is this supposed to, like, strip back vulnerabilities? What is the goal of all this?
I mean, the goal is to basically create an environment where like you don't have to worry about IoT devices, and everyone is trying to do this right now. Like lawmakers want to pass bills that like make it so that IoT devices have some standard of security, because right now it doesn't matter. Like I could ship something out that like has a hard-coded password that anyone can like guess their way into and like never updates, even though like there's new security flaws that come by.
Right.
And I can stock it in a store. Like Cloud Pets was a toy that had these like security issues with it that had been on Amazon for a while, even after like security vulnerabilities were like listed out for it. The only way that I got taken off was after Mozilla like started this campaign saying like, yo, like stop selling these insecure toys on Amazon. And they finally took it off after that campaign. But again, there is nothing stopping people from like making that product and also selling it
So right now it's really shame is the
Yeah, and it should not be that way.
Right.
Because I look at the IoT aisle, I guess, if they have that in like a Best Buy or something.
Yeah, sure.
And there's nothing telling you like, oh, this, like, you can't change the password on this, or like you have to manually get security updates on this. So the idea is like, if you create this standard and you allow people to put like a stamp of approval on their product, then it creates a safer environment for everybody by that means.
I mean, similar to like the UL label on various products. Like basically, there's been some sort of body that has set upon standards for like how secure a device should be, and that, I mean, even if you don't know the details of it, at least you know that seal of approval is there.
Yeah.
I wondered if that's really what it kind of meant. With USB, like Universal Service Bus, that anybody can develop that, but there is a standard for speeds and performance. So those actually have like a logo printed on them too.
And usually that means that there's some guarantee of
quality control,
compatibility and quality, right? Like if it doesn't have the label, if it's not USB certified, there's a chance it just doesn't work or blows up.
And I'll say this though, this label, the standard that they're creating is mostly focused on security. So privacy concerns would like still be there. Like if this thing is like sending data to all these companies, like when you turn your lights on and off, that kind of thing, it's more of a focus on security, which I feel like has a bigger sense of urgency than like privacy does.
Definitely.
TJ Viverette is a little lost, wants us to backpedal and go over exactly what Visible is a little bit more. I think that wouldn't hurt. We're going to have to revisit this a few times because collectively you explain it and then we still go, wait, why?
Yes. So it is Visible is it's a no contract prepaid service. It runs off the Verizon network. It is owned by Verizon, but they actually kind of operate off on their own. They even have their own headquarters. I believe somewhere in Colorado, actually. And they kind of run separately and, contrary to their name, very quietly. In order to sign up for the service, you have to download the app, and then so you kind of download, you sign up and you go through the whole activation process through that. They cut out the cost by basically spending zero money on things like marketing and customer service, and they're really trying to position this service as an alternative for folks who are right now jumping ship to T-Mobile, to Metro, to Boost, to Metro PCS, other prepaid services, and other more affordable services out there. And they're really going after, again, younger customers who are a bit more technically savvy, someone who would be comfortable basically just dealing with the whole sign-up process through an app as opposed to going to a store and talking to a sales rep, which is what most Americans still do. It's again because it's so much cheaper than sort of the core Verizon plans. It hasn't been marketed as aggressively. It definitely isn't marketed towards anyone who's an existing Verizon customer now. That's definitely not what they're trying to do. They're really trying to pick off customers from their competitors, not get folks on the Verizon network to switch to this Visible service, because that would mean less money for them. And Verizon loves money.
It had a data cap of 5 megabytes a month?
Speed, megabits per second. So you're running at 5 megabits per second, which is okay for like browsing and I guess video stream. Like you're not going to get like 1080p quality video, but it was fine for what it was. It doesn't mean that you're only getting like a 5 gigabyte or a megabyte
like limit
on data. No, that's just a speed limit.
And this is like actually Verizon's network, or is it like when Cricket Wireless says that they're on like T-Mobile's network, but you can only really use it in cities?
No, well, for one, Cricket is actually just AT&T's network.
Oh, my bad. Was it Metro PCS that's on
You're
T-Mobile?
probably thinking about TracFone.
Something like
that.
Oh, but is it basically like limited coverage, or is it like all Verizon?
It is all Verizon's coverage. So you get full access to Verizon's network.
That is extremely interesting. Yeah, like I said, if I wasn't on my family plan, I would probably do that.
Yeah, like keep in mind, like at 5 megabits under the previous limit, your video is probably looking at like 480p. So it's
I
not
am okay
super
with
crisp.
that.
Yeah, but again, you're spending $40 a month.
Everyone watching this video should just turn it to 480p instead, so like our faces are like
very
fuzzy.
Yeah. I would love that.
Go back to 480p, everyone.
We'll start the hashtag. All right, so if I am to try to summarize this, it is the Diet prepaid plan for fringe low bandwidth introverts.
Yes, except right now it's not a low band option. It's actually just as fast as everything else. So
Right, because they lifted.
right, for a limited time, it's actually it's kind of great for everyone.
Get you in the door and yank the rug out from underneath you.
Yeah, well, yes, there's that. I mean, they say that when you sign up during this limited offer period, you'll keep that service no matter what happens to the offer. But again, there's always fine print that allows carriers to get out of that. So
I don't believe you.
just that's what they're saying.
Switching gears back over to EA again. Commander Trium says it's good EA at least announced the security flaw instead of keeping it to themselves. I'm still suspicious of companies that do that more than they report. Shouldn't that be regulated?
I'll say this. EA did not announce it themselves. This was fixed around March. And then EA, the security researchers published it, which, to be fair, they must have gotten permission or something like that from EA to basically make this a public post, because they did get a statement from somebody on EA's security team in their press release on it. They did not respond to my request for comment, but they put a statement in. They gave a statement to the security researchers, at least. So it's very possible that, had these security researchers not gone public with the post, this would have just been swept under the rug. And that happens a lot in cases where it's nobody was breached. This didn't affect anybody, so why publish it or something like that. But I do think that companies, if somebody was breached, I think that they should publish it, because people find security vulnerabilities all the time before it's used poorly, used maliciously. Google thought about doing that with the Google Plus vulnerability that they discovered, where it was it turned out that people could get as much information on people that they were not friends with on Google Plus.
Right.
They knew about that for a month or two or something, and they just at first there was an internal debate about should we make this public or not, because we found it before anyone used it. This didn't affect anybody maliciously, and we also fixed it before anyone used it.
Right.
And they chose to go public with it anyway, and then shut down Google Plus. So yeah, there's something to be said about companies disclosing vulnerabilities of their own, even when it hasn't been used maliciously.
Right. Yeah, I'm a fan of more transparency for sure.
Aren't we all? Now we'll just see if the actual companies follow suit. All right, we got a few minutes left. Storm King asks, what would be the point of having a smart home device information available? Why would you want to have information on light usage or when an appliance turns on and off?
For advertising.
Touché.
They can use that data to basically know, this person gets up around this time, and then advertisers basically translate all that metadata together into, this guy's a morning person. He gets home around this time. Mm-hmm. He probably likes coffee or something like that. And then they can direct ads towards your IP address, because if your light bulb is on the same IP address as, your router, which it most likely is, I don't think you're getting a separate router for that. Then, you might start noticing a little bit more ads for either other light bulbs or stuff that a morning person would get, like coffee ads or something like that. It's most of the data harvesting is for advertising purposes, and we have a giant industry fueled on that. So, thanks, people.
Okay, I think it's probably about time for us to go ahead and hit the dusty old trail, don't you say? Just a reminder, we are moving on from the CNET YouTube channel. We're not moving on from CNET. You can still find the audio podcast and all the regular channels where it always existed. But now, if you want to watch the live stream video, besides Periscope, we're still on Periscope and on CNET.com, but you can also go to tiny.cc/dailycharge, subscribe to our new YouTube channel, which we will be starting on this coming Monday. Same show, same doofuses here, just new location. And we are skipping tomorrow's show. I've got in-laws coming into town, so I gotta go tackle that. Thanks everybody for such a wonderful trip it's been so far as we move on to the next leg of the journey. Are you guys excited? Are you excited, Roger and Alfred?
I'm super excited.
I am waiting till I get my free stuff from the Daily Charge.
Yeah, once the Daily Charge swag comes in, we're going to be super pumped.
It's just battery banks.
I mean, I love battery banks. It's the best.
Okay, so what we want to do in the meantime is in the next few days, we'd like you to leave comments on this show. All the legacy shows, by the way, stay here on the playlist here at CNET. YouTube, so you can always find the old episodes. You just got to find the playlists. Everything going forward, obviously, daily charge. We're looking to kind of ramp up the presence of the show. We're experimenting with some new creative ideas, but we want to know, as always, what is the backbone of the show, what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you want us to try. So go ahead and sound off in the comments, tweet at us. You want us to do call-ins, you want us to go hit the street, anything like that. We want to hear from you, and we'll try to work that into the next leg of our journey. Until then, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again for all of your time and all of your attention, and we'll see you on Monday at the Daily Charge. Roger!
Yep, the 359 is available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Feedburner, the Amazon Alexa, and of course, CNET.com. We'll see you all next week.
Take care, folks.
Bye.
Bye.